Hey everyone, how's it going? This is Project Growing here. We're going over a little bit of Technique Tuesday from Reddit, October 30th. This is from a Florida crew team member, the stroke seat, who's interested in getting a little bit of feedback on his technique. Talk a little bit about what I see, and also not just for him, but also a little bit for the boat, and got some words of advice for the coxswain as well. So we're just going to dive right in here, play a little bit, and then we'll talk about it.
Boys, let's stay clean. Walk me up. Bow bear, this is y'all's 10 strokes. I'm on their bow seat. Break free of them, boys. Break free. Less than a few minutes left. Let's go. I'm on their fucking Judge Melton. The fuck is a Judge Melton? That's their fucking ugly ass boat name. Let's go, boys. Walk through them. I'm on their bow ball.
Okay, so I'm going to start right away with the coxswain. First thing, this ends up being maybe 12:50 into this race. They've got another, as you can see from the video, another 4.5 minutes of rowing. So they got at least 1,000. So make sure you get your numbers right. Always make sure you get your numbers right, because you want the crew to trust what you're saying, and you don't want them to use all their energy early. The other thing is be respectful. I understand the desire to shit talk the other crew and kind of be like, yeah, let's crush them. Talking about oh yeah, we're gonna crush them, we're gonna beat them. That's fine. Just don't be disrespectful. It's just you want to keep it clean in the sport, and you never know when another crew is just gonna train really hard one winter and then beat you in the spring. So you gotta always show respect for your opponents. It's a healthy mindset to have when you're approaching the sport. All right, so getting into the technique here. Obviously, it's a good amount of check at the front end, and because of that, we're getting a little bit of wobble in the boat. Timing around the front end's a little here, slapdash. The 6 seat, you got that really, really crazy big dig going on. And to me, these are just all really indicative of younger crews, where you don't have that discipline up the recovery. And because of that, you have the body weights coming in at different times into the front end, and it's not fully centered over the foot plate. So you're getting this roll side to side, which is greatly affecting how you can place at the front end. And because you're not getting good, clean placement at the front end, it's a lot harder to get the pressure through the boat. I think the thing the boat is doing very well, and the reason they're able to win this race so handedly over the other freshman crews, I think it really comes down to the fact that they are getting connected and holding on to the water pretty well. So definitely good job there. But that would be my focus, is trying to figure out how we can have better control into the front end and cleaning up that front end catch, so we're getting a nice long connected stroke where we're squaring up early, placing cleanly, and holding on through the drive. And so that would bring me to two drills. One is called placement drill, which I'm sure a lot of you guys out there have heard. Is you're sitting squared and buried at the finish. Coxswain will say go. Everyone extracts the blade, comes through the recovery, squares up early, drops the blades in at the catch. And then you sit there at that catch without applying any pressure, just getting that feeling for, what does it feel like if all I'm doing is coming up and placing? And I'm not I don't feel that necessity to just bounce right out of the front end. Because if you think of the front end as kind of like a bounce, that's really counterproductive. You want to think of it as a place then step, getting that catch first, getting that compression, and then putting the pressure on it. The other drill that I would highly recommend this crew give a shot at is called the mud drill. You're sitting squared and buried at 3/4 slide, just like you would at the start, and then you compress forward, pushing the handle forward, backing the boat down, and once you've reached full compression, just apply the pressure on with the legs, take that, and then take the full stroke. And it takes a really long time to go from backing the boat down to applying the pressure and taking the full stroke, but that's what you want. You would take a long time turning it around, but you really want to feel what it feels like to be connected at that full compression point, because the blade's in the water, you're going to get that full compression feel. So very important drill if you really want to feel what the ideal catch and compression and drive feels like. So definitely give the mud drill a shot. But yeah, again, you can see the boat's kind of listing back and forth. The other point that I wanted to bring up is a lot of times freshman crews go out there and they think, oh man, I'm just going to pull my hardest and that's what's going to, help me win the race. Really, what wins these kinds of races more than anything else is good technique. Crews spend a lot of time on conditioning. They work hard. I've never ever been worried when sending a freshman crew out if like, oh no, will they pull hard enough? Yeah, I know they'll pull hard enough. My worry is like, will they row cleanly? Will they like get too into this pulling hard mentality that they completely forget their technique and they're short and they're choppy and they're rushing the slide? So that should always be your focus when you're racing. It's really focused in on getting that full compression, getting that placement, having the control through the slide. So that should be kind of what's going through your heads when you're doing these races. But otherwise, so those are my big tips for today. Realizing that good slide control is really important to good placement and drive. You can practice those things by doing placement drills, by doing mud drill, and that when you race, more often than not, your focus should be on the technique. Specifically to the stroke seat, I thought he was doing a really good job of getting that drive, that impulse through the drive. But again, get that early square up. Like if you're squaring up early, then you're signaling to the rest of the boat, hey, this is when I'm going to catch. And it makes it a lot easier to coordinate those catch timings. So the early square up. And then, make sure you're getting that blade buried at full compression. That's another big thing is if you're like direct to the water, that helps everyone else be direct behind you. And then not once did I hear the coxswain call. I know I kind of muted the whole thing, but not once did I hear the coxswain call for more control through the slide. And correctly identified in your post, like you said, hey, I think we're rushing a lot. You definitely are rushing a lot. And that is something that the coxswain should be calling. He's very much focused on intensity and like, oh, let's beat him and give it all you got. That's fine. I consider that like tier 3 coxing. It's like you have like tier 3, tier 2, tier 1. And tier 3 is it's all like cheerleading and motivational. Tier 2 is technique, and tier 3 is like correctly executed race plan where you're kind of melding, motivation, technique, and execution all together. So definitely could be more focused on the technical aspect of things. But that's my advice. If you have any questions, feel free to email me at james@projectrowing.com. We're going to try to get the website up and going, but I spend a lot of time on the rowing subreddit. So if you have any questions, feel free to leave them there or direct message me, and I'd be happy to answer them. Looking forward to doing more videos like this in the future. I'll talk to you all later.